This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Hamoed Hamoed. So I got an interesting shaila today, and we're going to discuss the shaila not only for the shaila per se, but as a way of approaching all questions when it comes to Hilchos Chol Hamoed. The question is one allowed to go fishing on Chol Hamoed? People enjoy going fishing. There's a certain hana perhaps that people have by sitting out there on the boat in the elements. It's relaxing, it's peaceful, it's fun. Is one allowed to go fishing on Chol Hamoed? You say, well, what could be wrong with it? Well, you're doing a malacha. It's one of the malachas. The malacha is tzad. So now the question is, do I need the fish? Am I going to eat the fish? What if I just catch the fish and throw it back in? So I'm doing tzad, and I'm not doing it l'tzarech hamoed. So in Siman Tav Kof Lamed Gimel, Sif Aleph, the Mechaber says, you're allowed to grind flour for Yom Tif, l'tzarech hamoed, even if you specifically waited to do it on Chol Hamoed. You're allowed to chop wood on Chol Hamoed, and you're allowed to put hops of dates or barley on Chol Hamoed, but you're not allowed to do it shalei l'tzarech hamoed. And the Mechaber says, so basically you're allowed to do any malacha if you need it for Chol Hamoed. Now, am I required to do exactly what I need for Chol Hamoed? In other words, I have to make some kind of computation. Okay, I need exactly 3.5 pieces, so I could do 3.5 and not 4. I need 4.79 ounces of flour, so I can't grind 5 ounces. So the Mechaber says, no, you relax. Ein tzarich l'tzamtzem. You could do it generously, and if you ended up making more than you needed, that's not a problem. But you can't trick and intentionally make more than you need. But you could do it generously, and if you end up producing more, then it's okay. So the same thing with fishing. You're going to say, well, I'm going to go fishing for 100 fish, and I'm going to eat one. So I'm doing it l'tzarech hamoed. I'm hungry, so I need one fish. So I'm going to go fishing the whole day for one fish. So it seemed like I can't intentionally rely on the fact that I'm going to eat a little bit to go fishing the whole day. However, the Mechaber says in Siv Daled, Tzad Adam Dagim Kol Ma Sheyach Alatzad. A person's allowed to trap as many fish as he wants. So here, the Mechaber doesn't say that you don't have to be mitzamtzem, but you could do it b'harvacha, but you can't be mechaving to do more than you need. Because the Mechaber is very liberal over here. The Mechaber is saying you could trap as much as could be possibly trapped. So the Mishnah Berurah is medayik that here it sounds like from the Mechaber that even if it's for sure more than you need, it's mutter. So for the Mishnah Berurah, why by flour are you only allowed to do it generously, but you can't intentionally do more than you need? And by fishing, you're allowed to fish for even more than you need. So the Mishnah Berurah says, Shani hach, here it's different. She'ein kol dog shava b'tamai. Every fish is different. The kol tzeda, every time you fish, you could make this, you know what? Maybe the next fish will be better. Maybe the next fish will be nicer. Maybe it'll be a different flavor. So when it comes to fishing, you could just keep on fishing, even if you only need very little. Because each fish, you could say, well, maybe I'll get a better one. So you say, based on this, it should be mutter to go fishing on Chol Hamoed. Yes, there's one caveat. And that is, you have to be eating at least one fish. But if you're going to end up throwing everything in, it would seem that the heter, the Mechaber, to go fishing generously without any thought even more than you need, is because on each act of trapping, you could say, well, maybe I'll get a better one the next time. Maybe the next one will be different. But if you don't plan on eating it at all, if it's just recreation, then you don't have the heter of the Mechaber and Siman Tav Kof Lamed Gimel Sif Dalet. So you'll say, well, maybe there's a different heter. Maybe fishing is so much fun, maybe it provides so much recreation and hana, that the hana itself, the enjoyment itself of the act of fishing, is considered a tzarech hamoed. Well, that already is somewhat dubious. That is very questionable, whether recreation is considered a tzarech hamoed. In the Sefer Zichron Shloimeh, in the Biurim Sif Dalet, he brings many rayas that not everything that you get a hana out of is considered a tzarech hamoed. So therefore, and as well in the Kuntra Shirei Halacha of Reb Shmuel Felder of Lakewood, he also is very cautious to say that just enjoyment alone is considered a tzarech hamoed. The Debretziner Rav has a tshuva in the Ber Moshe, Chelek Zayin Siman Samach Beis. He writes that if where you're fishing, there are big fish and small fish, fish that you could eat and fish you can't eat, you could fish all day long, because even if your intention is primarily for recreation, because maybe you'll get a fish that you'll end up eating. But if it's only small fish and you're not going to eat it and you're fishing for recreation, he also he also does not encourage one to go fishing purely for recreation. So the bottom line is that if somebody wants to go fishing and he's genuinely going to eat a fish, and he could continue fishing the whole day, maybe he'll get that big catch all the way at the end of the day. But to go fishing purely for recreation, it would seem that you're getting involved in a shaila of doing a malacha shaloi l'tzarech hamoed, and it's hard to make a definitive case that fun and enjoyment alone is considered l'tzarech hamoed. And perhaps we'll discuss this. It would seem this would apply to apple picking as well. Maybe we'll discuss that in a different segment. Somebody needs the apples. They're going apple picking because they live in a country where there are no stores and you can't buy apples in the store and they have to pick apples. That's one issue. But just to go picking for the recreation of it, that would seem to fall under the guidelines of this shaila that we just discussed. Wishing everyone a good Hamoed.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.